Hello everyone, we are at Land of Living Farm. That's in rural Mechanicsburg, Ohio, visiting now with Bonnie Ayars. Bonnie, Land of Living, your farm, your dairy farm here, tell us a background on that name. It has a story.
Oh, yes, it does. My mother and father-in-law were born and raised in Kansas during the Dust Bowl time. When they started courting one another, they would meet in railroad stations. Then after they were married and still in individual jobs, they met, came here to Ohio, and selected a farm that they thought was truly the land of living things. And that was way back in the 1930s. So we've always kept that name to honor their presence in our lives.
Well, the dairy operation that has been carried on by you and your husband John and your three sons has earned you an award during the Ohio State Fair in 2011. First of all, congratulations, and tell us a little bit about going into the Dairy Hall of Fame.
Well, it's the Ohio State Fair Hall of Fame, and both my husband and I cut our teeth at the Ohio State Fair as kids in 4-H. I started when I was 10 years old, so this will be my 50th anniversary at the Ohio State Fair. We showed cows, we met good friends, we learned great experiences. Although there's an age difference between us, we didn't know each other till later on in life. But what we did know is that we both had a great fondness for the Ohio State Fair. And now, all these years later, and having supplied hay and straw and feed and cattle and the milk a cow and exhibited and had several champions, it's nice to know that maybe they liked us too.
Well, now, you like telling the story so much that you are an extension educator at the Ohio State University, and with that you get to work with a lot of students, and that I'm sure gives you a lot of satisfaction carrying on the ag and the dairy story to another generation.
Absolutely, and what I can tell them is also an education method that they can follow or lead by example, and it's the greatest job in the world. Great kids, wonderful people to work with, people who appreciate us, and then that opportunity to be a link to the consumer. You know, we're getting more and more generations remote from agriculture, so we're going to have to do a better job of telling our story. I always say it's common sense with compassion. That's how we take care of our cattle.
Bonnie, let's talk a little bit about the dairy operation here. The kind of cows you have for the dairy operation, the numbers, and some of that kind of statistics, if you will.
Well, you're not talking to the main cog in the dairy operation. I've been the person who's had the off-the-farm job, but yet I have responsibilities around the farm here too. We think that my husband is the brainchild, and we've been lucky to have a young son come back into the operation with us, and all of our boys that have a great interest in agriculture, especially dairying. So here on our farm we have lots of ways to house and take care of cattle, and we'd like to think that we kind of have specialties for each cow and how she is a part of the herd, her role in the herd. So we're milking close to 120 cows right now, just went after 36 more to bring back into the herd. The operation has grown, it's been expanded. We have lots of variety of housings to meet the individual needs of all the cows. So we're dairy farmers through and through, and we care for our cattle, and that's not just a 9-to-5 job, that's 24/7 holidays, weddings, even when you would like to call in sick.
Well, I understand that you've, I guess that's one of the reasons that you say that, especially in a dairy operation, you sacrifice to have a good operation.
Oh, absolutely. There are many times when the cows take high priority over the people who are involved. But because we're used to that, that does not come at the high price it might to others who do not understand our lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. When you deal with living things, you have ultimate responsibilities that you can't shut the door on. You can't shut down the computer. You can't delete a file, although there are things that we'd like to forget sometimes. But on the farm, the difference between life and death can be this close. It's a rewarding lifestyle.
Well, I want everybody to know that I called up Bonnie a day before we have come out here to actually do this video work, and this is the way the farm is. They haven't had enough time to change anything, so what you see is really the operation, and you pride yourself on keeping it clean and this kind of an operation every single day.
Absolutely, because cleanliness will also indicate the values that you have for your cattle, and it connects to being comfortable. It connects to our good health. It connects to the presence when people drive by, and especially with our niche product being marketed off the farm now. That's what people really crave to see. We've grown up a generation who's looked at the comic books that portray us as old McDonald's farm. Well, I don't have on gingham and I don't have pigtails, but there is sometimes that image, and if it gets larger, sometimes people don't trust that. But they should, because we take a lot of care and concern, and we have to grow to that step, not quickly, but we have to take it one step at a time.
You know, Bonnie, you have shown us some of the older buildings from when the farm was in its many years ago, and some of the newer buildings. Actually, I guess husband John is given credit for a lot of the design work and the new needs and putting together airflow and different things that a lot of people wouldn't think about.
Well, he's multi-talented when it comes to those things, and because he loves the business, he wants to learn more about it. There's a lot of reading, a lot of consulting, extension educators, sometimes even his wife on rare occasions, or probably a lot, let me say that fairly. But he loves doing those kinds of things. He's a product of what we've been taught, that we must be educated to be progressive. But it has to fit in what he likes and what he feels comfortable for, and that bottom line, the financial needs. And he's very gifted at that, much more so. It's not an area I delve into at all. He is the sole person when it comes to those items.
Now, when you have milking 120 cows as you are right now, that allows you to know those animals almost on a, well, actually, you know their names, their mothers, their grandmothers' names, and everything about them, who won an award at the state fair. And it was sort of amazing for me as we were walking the barns, and you would point out the grandmother and this and that. That's something that you pride yourselves on.
Oh, that's knowing our cattle, and because I do some of that record keeping, especially with all the calves, and knowing and name them, and because many of them are purebred cattle, you develop a relationship. Let's call it that. It is a relationship with them that carries through their life, the beginnings, the endings, and all the things in between. Some of them you know better than others. It's the same way with an educator in a classroom, and a mother who has 19 kids, perhaps. We learn those things, but by learning and knowing the animals, that makes us better at what we do.
Well, you know, as you're looking at the cows, and as we were having a chance to talk about the individuals, I noticed that the cows are so tame, and they're very hands-on. You actually walk the stalls, you put your hands on them. In fact, they make friends with other animals on the farm.
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship. We can say that for sure. But that's also attributed to the employees, Tim and Darlene, that you say here. They have and respect the same values that we have for our cattle. We couldn't mistreat them and expect them to be a profitable venture to us. They get the extra care and attention and spoken to. And sometimes you can walk by a barn and wonder who they're talking to, and you realize we're talking to the animals. That's our care and respect for them, and it's given back for us. It's good.
Now, most dairies in the United States would have possibly just one breed that they are working with, but in your operation, you have a couple of different breeds and even some crosses.
We are an equal opportunity employer, you know. If you can make the cut here, that's cultural diversity. And no one breed has ever serviced the needs of everybody. We all walk to the tune of a different drummer, and we just like having several drums, so to speak, here on the farm. And they all serve a purpose, and it's good for us. We like that variety, and yet some people are very singular, and I respect that too. But for us, we've gotten into different cows, different ventures, and different breeds for different reasons. But the hearts belong to the cattle, to the cows themselves. It doesn't make a difference where her herd book is registered at.
Now, you've advanced and branched out, so to speak. A niche market has been utilized. Can you tell us briefly about that?
Well, that was always a passion and a dream of our youngest son, Lucas. let's make ice cream. He always wanted to. I remember him talking about that when he was in high school and when he was in college. And then after the necessary research and investing in it, that dream for him became a reality. And I guess we all played a role in it, in what happened to make it viable. But he's the ice cream man right now. Let's give him just credit. We work on different ventures together because I've been more of a cook maybe than he has ultimately. But we have a very nice joint venture, but due credit is given to Lucas on that.
For more information about today's show, or to suggest a topic, fax, call, or email us today.